Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And it's a quick question. I'd like to sponsor a video of you just talking about the process of going no contact. For you, practically speaking, and through narcs acting narcissistically, what was the hardest part about going no contact? In the early stages of the process, what was most rewarding? What about for the people who are watching who are no contact? Thanks, Anonymous. Well, for me, going the hardest part for me, it was never really hard in my mind where it's like I wanted to keep these people in my life. It was just a feeling of, for me, that I couldn't get away from them, that I needed them for some reason, that I would ultimately fail without them. I got to a point, I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't take it. I couldn't do any of it anymore. I was 34, 35 years old, and I realized I hadn't lived a day of my own life. And when you get to the point where you're with somebody for 14 years that you never wanted to be with in the first place, and you're at the end, you get to this point, at least I did, and a lot of people I talk to, you just get to this point in your life. And it's usually, for me, it was in my mid 30s, and for a lot of other people, it's in their mid 30s as well, where you just run out of storage for all the bullshit. And for me, it became that no contact was my only option because it was so apparent to me that the abuse wasn't going to stop. And as I had given myself this break from them, I was seeing more and more who they are, what they were capable of, and just at what they were doing as I was still sitting up there, separated from my ex-wife, going through the divorce with my ex-wife, and what was happening. To be honest with you, the cloud of confusion, not even confusion, of stress and anxiety over the entire situation for me hasn't really subsided much. It's a different sort of anger. It's an anger over my past. It's definitely better than being there, around them. I mean, the hardest part, obviously, is just not being able to see my kid. Maybe I deluded myself in in some way, thinking that I could ever be completely no contact, knowing what they are and what they're capable of, knowing that they were going to try to be involved in Aaron's life. And not that going no contact wasn't the right thing to do. It's serious. It obviously was. It obviously was. But what was rewarding about it is you could see was just being able to find a little bit about yourself, things you never knew because you never asked. You never really asked. I never really asked, and most of us never really ask who we are, what we like, what we want to do. That's what's rewarding, is after 35 years, you can start to think about yourself. You can start to have an identity. That's what's rewarding. That's the most rewarding thing, is to get an identity about yourself. The conflict is always going to be there on some level until they die, and nothing easy about going no contact. Nothing easy about this. What better reward can you have than to finally figure out who you are and what you want? Because none of us had any clue beforehand. You, who I've spoken to several times, have no idea who you are. That's why you're struggling with this no contact. You know there's a major problem. And the fears are of the future of cutting off this supposed safety net that doesn't really exist. It's nothing more. That safety net is an anchor. These safety nets that we think that we're so beholden to, we're not beholden to them. They are anchors on our lives, disguised as safety nets. But what they really are is they just keep us in the same lot in life and never allow us to progress or even ask who we are, what we want to do with ourselves. That's what's rewarding. At least I don't have that anymore. This feeling of being a zombie and empty and contributing nothing to the world. Because I was walking around I was making real good money. But none of it really mattered in anything. It was just a job. Even IKEA, it was just a job. It wasn't real. That's why I was miserable there too. As good as the pay was, and believe me, it hurt. It hurt. It still does. It was still probably for the better. Because I still at that point wasn't dealing with who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. I was chasing that security net, that safety net, which ultimately was just another anchor. Unfortunately, at that in IKEA, the anchor realized I figured out how to pull it up and realized the anchor was corrupt and they cut. However, as difficult as the struggle is, at least I know what I am now and who I am now. And that's the reward. There's no magic pill. There's no magic spell to make the chaos go away. There's no set of words. There's no set of advice. The chaos is always going to be there. But until you go no contact, you're never going to be able to deal with it in a healthy way. You're never going to fully see it for what it is. Even 10 years after being basically no contact, 6 years removed from the area. You see what the narcissist does on my channel. You see what my father, they don't go away, even the so. But if you're physically there and you are actively engaging, you won't be able to see it for what it is. That manipulation you see my father try to pull off in these comment threads and what he's trying to do without no contact could be very effective. Could be very effective, but they're not. Without no contact, this channel would never existed. Would never have existed. So there's your reward. Think about that. Without no contact, none of you would know who I was or if this channel or that this channel ever existed, because the channel wouldn't have existed. Bottom line, that's the reward of no contact. So thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, a Facebook chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video for someone else, or just make a contribution to the channel, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. And if you're still unsure, wait for the instructional video link to pop up at the end of this video. It'll walk you through all that. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. This is Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Bye.